What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So this is my little vegetable curry recipe. I've had a few weeks off just paying the bills, but now we're back to it. So I'll put the ingredients down in the comments section below so you can kind of see everything in it, but I'll just quickly go through what we've got in here. So we've got some chickpeas there. We've got some yellow split peas, which we'll cook in a bit. We've got a couple of tins of coconut cream, which we'll probably just use one of those tins. I don't think we'll need more than that. We've got the rest of the stuff. So just a mixture of vegetables. Whatever you've got is good, but I've got butternut squash, some cabbage, some nice sort of field mushrooms, got an onion, sweet potato, big chunk of ginger. We'll probably only use about half of that. We've got some garlic, probably a couple of cloves. We've got a nice big bunch of kale. I'll probably only use about half of that. We've got some zucchinis. I'm not sure if we use all of those, probably 2 of those. A big bunch of coriander, and then a big bunch of watercress, because I thought that would be quite good, the pepperiness of it. So yeah. So what we'll do first off is we'll get the yellow split peas cooking down. So what you do is a cup full of those, give them a rinse, strain them, and then we're going to do 3 cups of water and then a pinch of salt, and then get that on the heat, just simmering away for about 30 minutes. While that's going along, we'll just start prepping all the veg. So with the butternut squash, I've just kind of like chopped a section of that off, peeled it, and then I'm just going to cut it, as you can see, into kind of like 1-inch chunks. You want them quite big because these things are going to kind of fall apart a bit in the curry, and while that is good that they're going to do that, we don't want them to completely disintegrate. So we'll kind of do the same for the sweet potato, because again, once that cooks, it goes quite soft, so it will kind of fall apart a little bit. So as you can see, I'm just cutting that down through it lengthways, and then we'll cut across it into strips, and then turn it around, and then cut that into cubes. Again, about the same size as we've done with the butternut squash. Then what we're going to do is get some carrots. With these, just kind of roughly sliced like that, kind of quite chunky. Again, you can get away with something like that is good. And then what we're going to do is roast those in the oven. So get your oven on about 180 degrees. Get a nice oven roasting dish. Whatever you've got is fine. I've got an awesome cast iron thing here. And then we're just going to do olive oil, salt, pepper, give that a little toss, and then we're going to add in some spices. So we've got some ground ginger, some ground cumin, and some ground coriander, and it's probably about a teaspoon of each, roughly speaking. Just sprinkle that all over it, as you can see I'm doing there, and then give it maybe a little splash more olive oil, and just give it a toss around so everything's nicely coated and all the kind of powderiness, you know, blends through into the oil, as you can see there, and then just pop it in the oven. So again, 180 degrees centigrade for about 30 minutes, something like that. So what I'm going to do now is just prepare the ginger. So again, I've peeled it and then sliced it into thin slices, and then I've sliced across the other way, and then I'm just doing a fine little dice on it, essentially. You can whack the knife through it a bit more to get it even finer, and then we're going to do the same with the garlic. So just smash it with the end of the knife. Make sure you've got any of the skin off it, and then just cut through roughly like that, and just keep chopping through so it's nice and fine. And there's our nice little mix of garlic and ginger. We can just put that to one side when we start that cooking. So what we're going to do now is just get a pan on. I've got a nice cast iron pan here. I'm using a coconut oil to cook this all in, but whatever oil you've got is going to be fine. That's an unrefined coconut oil, so you do get a nice coconutty flavour from it, which just balances really nicely with the coconut cream. So what I've got there, I've got a brown onion, half an onion, and then our ginger and garlic mixture. That's just cooking down in the pan on a nice medium heat. You don't want it too hot, just a nice gentle simmer. And then I'm going to get the zucchini or courgette in there, give it a little, you know, toss around, bit of salt, a couple of knobs of butter. Now, obviously, if you're vegan, don't put the butter in. You can use just a splash more olive oil or a bit more coconut oil, or kind of a butter substitute. But you don't really need the butter. I just quite like it. It just, you know, works really well. So there's our roast veggies. That's had about 30 minutes in the oven. As you can see, it still holds its shape, and it's just cooked down really nicely, and it's got all sweet, and those curry kind of, the coriander, the cumin, and the ginger are kind of cooked down into that. It's super nice. So give that a gentle little stir around, but watch out at this point, because it will, the bits will start to fall apart if you're too vigorous with the stirring, so just be gentle with it. And then what I've done there is I've just added in the chickpeas. So I've just strained those 2 tins through a strainer, and then just pop them in just like that. They're already pre-cooked, so it's absolutely fine. So now the curry mix. So you can get a bit crazy with the different sort of spices if you want, but I wanted a real nostalgic thing for me. So I've got this Clive's of India curry powder, and then this Kean's curry powder, and I've done about a 4-to-1 ratio of the Clive's to the Kean's, which is about right. So about 4 teaspoons of the Clive stuff, and then 1 teaspoon of the Kean's, and then just pop it into that pan, as you can see I've done there. Again, the heat's not too high. You don't want to, these spices are kind of already pre-roasted, so you don't really need to cook that off too much. Give it a good stir around, and then they're my yellow split peas that have cooked for like half an hour, and then I've just strained those and then popped them in essentially. So they just kind of just disintegrate in, but they just give it a nice thick consistency and a nice flavour. Bit of white pepper, why the hell not? It goes really well with that. And then that's just a vegetable stock. I just use a really good quality vegetable stock cube. I think they're fine. So that's about 1.5 litres of stock. You want it to just kind of, you might need more. It depends on the quantity that you're using. So you're just going to top it up so it's pretty much full and quite loose like that, and then just pop the lid on, and then I've just popped that onto my other hob just to really gently simmer away, and that's just going to keep doing that for about an hour or something, just super low. While that's doing that, we can start adding in the other ingredients. Now I like to do this in a separate pan because you can get more flavour out of these ingredients at this point. So we've got some mushrooms in a pan, completely dry pan, mushrooms in there, pinch of salt, good grind of pepper. Once that's started to steam and you can hear it cooking, then add a few knobs of butter and get that tossing around. And then what I did, I just thought, well, I may as well add a little bit more of that curry powder. This is a bit of an idea. And it actually works really well. So just right towards the end of when that's almost cooked, just get that in there, toss it around, give it 2 minutes, and then pop that into the big pan of stuff and then give it a stir around. And then next up, we're going to do the cabbage. So again, I've just got a dry pan on the heat, little splash of water, a few knobs of butter. Again, if you're vegan, use your substitute butter or a little splash of olive oil or something. Good pinch of salt, good grind of pepper. Get that kind of cooking down, and it will just start to steam. You can pop a lid on at some point as well if you want to. I think I put the lid on for a few minutes and then it came back and it looked like this, and just keep tossing it around until it kind of wilts down and looks like that. And once you're looking like that, pop it into the pan and then onto the next stage. Yeah, give it a stir and onto the next stage. So now we're going to do the kale. Again, same process, dry pan, kale in there, knob of butter or your substitute butter if you're a vegan. Get it tossing around, little season of salt and pepper, and then drop that into the pan. And then with the watercress, you don't need to cook this at all in the pan. That can just go straight into the big pan. And there you go, guys. Look at that. So what we're going to do now is just let that gently simmer away for a couple of hours, really low heat, and let it bubble away. You can have the lid kind of half on and just keep checking on it and stirring it occasionally. There's a few focus issues here, so I do apologise. And then it's going to look like that. It kind of darkens down, goes all thick and awesome. And then what we're going to do now is add in about half a tin of coconut cream, roughly speaking, and then a nice wedge of lemon that we're just going to squeeze in there. Give that a good stir around. And then what we're going to do is add in a few knobs of butter. That's just going to add this real nice unctuousness to it. So obviously for the vegans out there, you can use your substitute butter at this point. And if you don't have any of that, then don't worry about it. It's just like an added luxury extra that you don't really need, but it does work really nicely with this. So for the veggies out there, I recommend it. And then we're just going to give that a stir around, added in a bit of fresh coriander there, and then a little splash more coconut cream because I just wanted it a little bit thinner. And that's kind of it. That's awesome. That will just hold like that for, on super low, for a while you prepare your rice or do whatever. I actually wanted to do a sous vide 63-degree egg because I think it works really well with this. Obviously, for the vegans out there, you wouldn't do this, but the veggies out there, it's a really nice little added extra. So I just cooked those 45 minutes, 63 degrees, and then if they look like that, super perfect. I add in a little bit of togarashi chili pepper and a nice little sprinkle of fresh coriander on right at the end. And that is it. Super tasty. Obviously, you don't need to open up the egg like that. I was just doing that because it looks cool. But you can see there, it's just super gooey, awesome, and it just kind of goes through all the curry, and it's amazing. So, yeah, really tasty vegetable curry. Give it a go. Let me know what you think. Comment down below or get on Instagram if you do try this and tag me in it. That's at Timmy_foodie. And there we go. There's some more videos here. Check them out and then give me a like, comment and subscribe or whatever. And we'll be back with another video soon. Cheers, everyone.